Morning, guys. We got another project here. This is kind of a case, a test fixture for one of my buddies. He asked me to do some modifications for it, so we're going to go ahead and do that. It's kind of a neat setup. He's got a treadmill motor. He's got an RPM gauge and some other stuff going on here. So what he wants us to do is adapt a different style rotor and stator to this case. So we're going to make an adapter out of this chunk of aluminum here, and then we're also going to make an adapter to thread onto this shaft, and then everything will sit on the outside. So let me bring you in a little closer so you can see really what's going on here. All right, guys. So I brought you in a little closer. You can see that this is a case off of a dirt bike, and he needs to do some testing. So this is the stator that goes down in here, and if it's down in there like that, then obviously this guy would go down over top of that as well. So what he wants to do, and without modifying the case, he would like to adapt this stator to this. And then also this will need to set over top of it as well. So you can kind of see this is going to be interesting how to do it. So I think the plan is we're going to take this big block of aluminum and we're going to machine it to fit down inside here. So it'll set down in, and I'll probably have it come over top of this lip however much we need, and then this guy will bolt right to that, kind of probably right around that position. And then we'll also have to make the other adapter then, you know, to fit on this. So this is kind of an interesting project. So the first thing we need to kind of do is figure out how big around we need to make it, what the distance is from this lip to here, so we can make the plate sit over top of it. Okay, so how we're going to measure this is I'm just going to use a couple parallels and lay over top of here, and then use a depth mic to go down and check it. So this depth mic has a 1-inch extension on it, and we'll measure this. Okay, so this is, since this is a 1-inch extension, so it's 1.4, and I can see the 75 mark, so it's 75, 79. And just measure the other side too. And that one's 7.8. It's almost 7.9. So we'll subtract the 125 off that for the parallels here, and it gives us 1.353 or 1.354, right around that range. So now that we have that dimension, this other dimension's kind of easy because we can just measure the outside of this. That fits in there really nice. And we're just going to use regular calipers for this measurement. So it's 4.327. So those are the first two cuts we kind of need to make in here. So we're going to go ahead and get this block chucked up in the lathe, and we'll start cutting. Okay, so I've got you over here at the lathe, and we're going to go ahead and get this block in here. I already did set the jaws already to get me close. Okay, let's go ahead and check it. All right. So there's, it's not completely round. It's not very far off, but if you look at the jaws, that jaw's on 0. This is 1 thou under. That's on 0. And that's on 0. But see, in here it's high. In between, it's, you know, there it's low. It's just the way these are made. You know, they're extruded. So that's close enough. So we're gonna go ahead and start touching off and start cutting here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this faced off and start cutting here. Start off with 5/1000s just to help clean it up. Look at that, 5/1000s cleaned that up. It's nice. So now if you remember, it was 1.354. So I don't want it sitting completely flat on that plate there, or the case. So I'm going to probably make this 1.4. That'll give us 50/1000 clearance roughly, a little under, but that should be perfect. So we're going to go 1 inch.
And then 0.4.
All right. I'm going to verify with the scale too. Looks right. So that dimension was 4.327. So this is 6 inches round. So we got quite a bit of material that's got to come off down to our line right here. So we'll try to take 1/8 inch cuts if we can. Okay, we might go ahead and drill and put a center in this. I was worried about that, and it's getting a little bit of vibration. A center in here is not going to hurt us either. Give us that extra support we need there. We're going to go ahead and put a center in this and give us a little bit of support down at this end, see if we can get it to stop from chattering. All right, now let's see how she cuts. I'd like to take a little bit more off if I can. I mean, that's an 1/8 inch path. So I know we're not even close, but I'm going to go ahead and measure just out of curiosity here. Yeah, we're at 549. I just stopped because I figured we would take another measurement here just to be sure. I don't want to go under, you know how that is. It's hard to put it back on. So we're sticking with an 1/8 inch cut. It seems to be working all right. You can hear it's on the verge of chattering. So we're just going to leave it at the 1/8 inch cut. Okay, we're at 499 right now. So I am going to go ahead and get this metal shavings cleaned up because they're flying everywhere. I shouldn't say they're flying everywhere, but they're all over the floor here. So I'll be right back, guys. All right, I got everything cleaned up here a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and cut. We got, it's supposed to be 4.327, I believe. And we're right around 5 inches right now. So we still have a fair amount to come off, so we'll take off let's see here, we'll take off another 1/8 at least, and then we'll start measuring it in. Okay, I'm at 4547, so we're getting close to our dimension here. Take another 100 off. That'll get us to roughly another 100 thousandths cleanup pass, somewhere roughly in that area. All right. 4.44, and I believe we need 4.3, 324. So we could take another. Sorry about that, fellas. I apologize. I ended up finishing us off off camera because the batteries had died on me. But anyway, to verify dimensions, this should be 1.4 and it's 1.396, not 397, and this should be 4.327, somewhere in there, and it's pretty much spot on. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark off a 1/2 inch, and then we're going to turn this down to 5.5. And where that dimension's coming from is this one here. So you can see it's 5.1, so keep in mind we still have to cut that in, so I need some material on both sides of it, and 5.5 looks like it's a good dimension, so we'll just stick with that. And then I measured this also because this has to be recessed, and it's 200 thousandths thick. So my thought was is if we measure off a 1/2 inch and make that 5.5, that'll give that plenty of room to sit down inside, and then that'll give us nice, it's going to be about 300 thousandths thick of material here to help hold that in place. So I think that's a good dimension, so we'll roll with it. The beauty of this is if it doesn't work out, looks like we're going to have a fair amount of this material left over, so we could always make another one if it doesn't. So let's get cutting here. So there's our 1/2 inch mark. I'm going to go ahead and put a mark there and zero this guy out. To our touch off, set our zero here, and since we know it's a 1/2 inch, we'll just go ahead and take it's 2 turns on the dial will give me a 1/2 inch, but we'll take a 100 thousandths pass. Okay, I'm just going to verify that it should be about 100 thousandths to come off, and I'm going to have to get different calipers. Alright, so I got my other calipers out, and according to this, we're exactly 100 thousandths we need to come off yet. This is our final pass. I always do the last cuts in 2 steps, so we did an 80. So now we're going to take the others. All right, let's double check. .5. I'm going to double check this measurement here. And it's a 1/2 inch on the nose, so what we're going to do is going to throw the deburring tool in, and we'll go ahead and get these edges a little bit there. Should say a chamfer. Hit this a little bit. That's plenty. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is either I'm going to bore this hole now, or I'm going to wait till I flip it and then bore the hole. One of the things we're going to do too is we're going to saw cut this off. But the reason why I did this in a couple different ways is, you know, this is a turned surface now, this is a turned surface. So whenever I put it and flip it around, I have this surface and this surface to indicate it back in to 0 where it needs to be. I also could bore the hole in it, and that would also give me the indicating that I need to whenever I flip it. So that hole doesn't really matter if I bore it now or not, since I have this surface and this surface, and actually this surface here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull this thing out. We're going to go ahead and get it all cut off. I'll probably leave a little bit here just as cleaning up and stuff, and then we'll flip it and start cutting the other side. Alright guys, we're going to end this episode here, so please hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't done so. Stay tuned for part 2. It's coming up here shortly. So as always, take care.